The backstory to it is pretty interesting. So do you know the story?
Yes. So I was there for the backstory for a really long time, for like almost a year. I was able to say I went to every single iOS Dev Happy Hour except for the first one because it's I the first so how it all started. iOS Dev Happy Hour, for those who don't know, is a monthly online meetup for iOS developers. Like the URL is iosdevhappyhour.com. So you can go to that. You can see when our next meeting is. We announce it like monthly. I'm saying we as in because I'm now an organizer of this. But how it all started was Alan Weary, the guy who started it. He put out a tweet saying, "Hey, so do you want to just like chit chat about iOS dev with some other people?" And a bunch of people responded. So like the first meeting had like 70 people and or 50 to 70, something like that. Like a good amount, more than like 10. So everybody like got together and just was on a Zoom call basically, and I missed the first one because I remember it happening, but as I fell asleep before it actually happened, so like I took a nap basically and missed the meeting. Um, but then afterwards on Twitter, I saw that like it became a thing and a lot of people were talking about it and how they really liked it. So I was like, oh man, I'm sad I missed the first one. So when he put out another one a month later, I was like, okay, great. Like I'm gonna make sure I don't miss this one because like everybody looked like they had a really good time, so I don't want to miss this meeting again. And then from there, it basically became a monthly online meetup. Alan ended up making like an Eventbrite link, so it's completely free for anybody to attend. You just have to like sign up on Eventbrite, and then you get the link, the Zoom link to the meeting, and that's what they've done ever since. But then with that, it's I really liked how it ended up turning into sharing people's stories. So when you join this meeting, you we have set up speakers who are just talking about how they got into iOS development. And a lot of the time, a lot of these people are like not doing traditional. I went to college, got a CS degree, got a developer job. Because like great for people to do that, but it's also like very cookie cutter. Like a lot of people do that, and that's totally fine. A lot of people do it though, but it's the same for all of them. But there's also a whole realm of so many developers who that's not their story. Some people's story is somebody ended up showing them a computer and showing them code, and then they ended up liking it and got a job. Like being iOSDev Happy Hour, I really like all the stories and just hearing how different people got into iOS development because this industry and all of programming, it's so interesting and cool that it's an industry where anybody can do it. You just have to learn how to code. That's like the whole thing is you just have to learn how to code. Like it's easy.
Yeah.
Not really, but it's like that's the one step that you have to do. You have to learn how to code. You can get a job. That's exactly like a lot of people have done it and that's possible. Doing that itself is very hard. Like of course, but that is all you have to do is just learn to code, you can get a job. Unlike different industries that you have to go to school for like 10 years, go like $100,000 in debt, and then you can get a job if you're lucky. Like, it's not like that. You can just like, you can fully do this like completely for free and get a job, and that's amazing. And because of that, it opens so many opportunities for different people to get into software development. But that's what I really like about iOS Dev Happy Hour is that we just are explain or like showing others how they got their first developer job because it is like getting that first job is the hardest one. It's like because you have no industry contacts, like you don't talk to other like developers, the first like job is the hardest for that. And because of that, with iOS Dev Happy Hour, you're joining a monthly online meetup of iOS developers and you get to talk to them too. So it's like not just a presentation. You hear people's stories, but then we do breakout rooms where you can talk to others. And that's where you end up meeting somebody. I met somebody at the time who had worked for Reddit. They have now since moved, work for Apple. This is like over the course of like a year and a half or so. And then like soon after that, or several months after that, we ended up meeting like in New York City and we had lunch together. So it's like I met this person originally on iOS Dev Happy Hour before I was even an organizer. And then like we ended up talking, ended up finding they moved to a different company, and then we eventually like ended up having lunch at some point in like a city I don't even live in New York City. So it's like I was just like passing through actually. So like those kind of connections that you make purely a Zoom meeting. So like you can meet so many different people from like all around the world, and that's what's really cool too.
How did you become an organizer?
I became an organizer because I knew Alan off of Twitter already. So, like, I was attending all the meetings anyways because he ended up making like a small team of people who all started like once it was past like just him, he was like, okay, wow, this is actually a lot of stuff, and it was becoming more popular at the time too. He like brought on a couple of the friends that he had at the time, or still has, but like I mean, at the time then, he brought on like friends
Yeah.
and they like helped with everything. Then it's because I was like attending the meetings constantly, and I was also telling Alan, I was like, hey, if you ever need help, let me know. Like I'll like
Mhm.
help you with organizing and everything. That was like I think several months or so from there later. That's when I officially ended up me and Chris Wu, who's also one of the organizers right now. We I believe joined at the same time, and I think that was last year or longer. I don't actually remember. But it's we had both joined at the same time to like help all the organizing. And now, right, it's me, Chris Wu, Alex Silver, Frank Foster, and Adrian Eves. So what is that? Like 5 of us right now.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's basically joining from being like, hey, I love this thing. It's great. If you need help, let me know. And that's just like how it ended up happening.